Greetings, Benjamin J. from Ben's Trains with another in the series. Well, another engine from eBay, as you see. This is a Marx 999, of course. And as I always stress, don't overlook the junk. I've been going on eBay and buying all the junk trains I can find, or all the junk engines I can find. $10 or less. I've been buying them just for the parts, the motors, the wheels, push rods, virtually anything you can think of. Now, one thing I've noticed in all these old engines, especially when they're in bad condition, they've been stored poorly, the E unit is always defective. Some of them work, lots of them don't, especially if there's rust and oxide on the motor. It means it's been stored someplace damp for a long period of time, usually an old basement. And what happens is these engines are enclosed in the shell. Now, the shell is made of zinc, so it can't rust, and usually they weather quite well, unless you drop them and physically bend them or break them. Cast zinc doesn't rust. However, the electric motor inside of this shell is sitting there with no air movement of any kind in this dense, moist air, and oxide just covers everything. And so these engines are always DOA. You can buy them cheap because they don't run. And in this case, put it on the power supply, and the E unit would cycle, but it wouldn't run the motor. And so there was oxide built up, and contact cleaner wouldn't help. So the only way to get in there and fix it would be to dismantle it and replace the E unit. It's easier just to bypass it, so that's what I do. I just wire these for forward only, and they're up and running. So in any case, did that, and this one had an intermittent problem. When it was cold, it would run perfectly. As soon as it got warm, it would stop. The light would remain on, but the engine or the motor itself would not run. So I checked everything on it, and I finally discovered it was the armature. There was a bad winding in the armature, and when it got warm, that winding would open. It wouldn't short, it would open, so it was getting no power. And the engine would just stop. As soon as it cooled off, it ran great. So I swapped out the armature, which also swaps the bearing, which is really great. And it really breathed new life into this old engine. This thing is running really, really well, which was surprising. It was in really terrible condition. So I've got it on the outside track pulling 22 tin litho cars. So this train's about 12 feet long. And like I said, it's actually running quite well. So I'll take it around a couple times and we'll see how we do. So, as I always say, don't overlook the junk. This engine was $6, plus shipping, of course. And like I said, this thing was dead as a hammer when it got here. And it took a while to fix it because I simply didn't know what the problem was. This intermittent thing, when you have an intermittent problem, it's really difficult to diagnose it because it's intermittent. In any case, I finally discovered that it ran great until it got X amount of warm, and then it just stopped. And as soon as it cooled off, it ran great again. And so anyway, I swapped out the armature, and that was the problem. So any of these engines that I can't fix, I just strip for parts. And as long as you have a supply of parts, there's really nothing on these engines you can't fix. In most of the cases, just bypassing the E unit will get 90% of them up and running. A few drops of oil, some cleaning, making sure that all the electrical connections are good. If it's not electrical on these, it's mechanical. So they're not terribly difficult. It's just a matter of learning how to repair them. In any case, just wanted to do a quick video. Again, don't overlook the junk. $6, and I've got a working 999 that's actually running surprisingly well, considering that it didn't run at all and it had that intermittent problem. But that's solved. It's running constant, it's running smooth, it's got a good bright light in it. So I was quite happy with it. Actually surprised that it's running as good as it is. So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, TheVictrolaGuy@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.